Rent. Hello and welcome to the Give Me Rent podcast. It's your entertainment podcast where we talk about everything and anything pop culture, at least what we deem worthy. My name is Dylan.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Noah.
And this is a very timely episode. 2025 just started, and we are actually on our very first episode, so kind of thought we would just talk about our most anticipated for the year. I think I'll get us started, maybe even the movie realm a little bit here.
Yeah.
Talk about
some
movies. Sure. I don't know if it's my most anticipated, but this year we have a return to the 28 days, weeks later franchise, whatever you want to call it, with 28 years later.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a return. Alex Garland directing, Danny Boyle writing.
I believe so. I'm not gonna say I'm 100% sure, but
just after seeing a few trailers, I'm insanely anticipated for this. Even after hearing that they shot it on an iPhone 15, I think.
well, with a ton of attachments.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Of
course.
Obviously, it's not like they just walked out there with
But
an
it's
iPhone.
intriguing.
It's very intriguing, and I think horror movies have had an insanely good run, especially with 2024. And honestly, even with the beginning of 2025, we've had some solid horror features already.
Yeah, we're only 2 months in, and we've had a couple.
Generally, just saw The Monkey last night. Thought it was pretty great. Companion was pretty good.
I didn't love it, but it definitely was
Promising start for horror
Yeah.
on the year. I think in 2024 was probably
Definitely worthwhile.
I think 2024 was one of the best years for horror we had.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think
Recent
going
memory.
into 2025, horror is going strong right now. And I think last night we saw a bunch of horror trailers for the year, and it got me really, really pumped.
Yeah, 100%. All right, moving on. Skolnick, what do we got?
Very, very common take, but I'm probably going to say just Superman just to see what James Gunn is going to do with this universe.
It's kind of hard to...
Besides the Suicide Squad, that he made, that technically was still like the Snyderverse. That was still really before he was ahead.
Well,
so
I mean, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It wasn't, right? Yeah,
it was under still like before James Gunn was ahead of everything. So I really want to see all this hard work that he's said he's put into this. I'm very excited. It looks great. And then the other movie I'm really looking forward to is probably the live action How to Train Your Dragon. Great staple growing up.
Well, I have a stance on these, live action reboots that I think Disney has been doing a terrible job. I think you guys agree. Yeah. But it's definitely interesting. It's DreamWorks.
This one's a dream because it is DreamWorks doing it. I give you that.
Yeah.
It seems kind of like run-of-the-mill, same thing Disney's been doing. But I don't think DreamWorks has done this once before. So, I'll give them a try.
I'm excited. Casting looks great. The dragons all do. I mean, very excited to see this interpretation also in live action because it does look promising. It's not like how they did Mufasa and it was like I don't know.
Well, that was just seemed lazy.
Yeah, it did. And I saw it. But there's other movies though we can all agree that got adapted into live action. It's just why? But this looks promising.
This one is from the director of the trilogy, right? It's the same guy who directed.
I didn't do a ton of research. So I don't.
Yeah, I'm blanking on his name, but I think it's the same.
I mean, I just rewatched those movies and I gotta say, actually amazing. So I'm
I'm a DreamWorks best.
I'm really hoping that they have something up their sleeve with the live action because they've already made a trilogy of them.
Yeah, but it's either they did or
not one.
They saw the new theme park was coming out and they said we need
and they just need to be relevant. So it's
I'm
very hesitant about it because it could just be for relevancy of the brand. I guess
I will
say
the park does look pretty sick.
The park looks cool.
Just got to point that out.
But yeah, I mean both great picks. Superman I think is at the top of everyone's list for this year. I mean, even if you don't like superheroes, it's Superman. Come on,
I definitely want to see a return to it looks like at least what it's going to be, the classic roots of Superman. I definitely want to see a smiling Superman. That would be nice.
A symbol of
I think
I'm
three
saying
of
this
us
as a fan of Henry
all
Cavill
at least
as well.
appreciated Henry Cavill's approach to
yeah.
the character.
Love Henry.
That being said, I am very much here for the kind of Reeves-esque classic Superman take.
I don't want it to be a
copy
of that, though. I do want it to, actually have its own space. And
Skolnick, you say it's your most anticipated. Are you excited that James Gunn is taking over?
I'm excited because it seems, not even just with characters that he's obviously introduced, but I think he really does understand what translating characters from the comic realm to, the
he
screen,
also puts his own spin on them.
Yeah. He does.
But he knows, I feel like he puts an interesting spin on some of them, especially Peacemaker, I guess, specifically.
He's acknowledged a lot, the DCAU, talking about Bruce Timm, Superman. It's just, I think we're going to see some elements from that character, especially with some of the shots.
Yeah.
I hope we get to see how he struggles, how he has to be a humane and has to uphold this symbol of peace, but also knowing that
Did you like the trailer that they released?
I did like the trailer.
Okay.
People did complain about his face, when he was flying, but I think that's a more realistic take.
I actually find that hilarious because I think it was really just the camera and how they shot him. I don't even think it was fake. I literally think people were saying he looked fake when he didn't, which is
I thought it was
crazy.
kind of an interesting shot.
I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool.
I think it's different. I think we're also gonna see a lot more like when we saw Cavill, just like
the
he
best
was like
thing
a missile. Like you didn't see a lot of what's the word, like his bodily movements were fun. Like, I think we're gonna see a lot more those little features of Superman, which I'm excited.
Well, I'd rather them do it differently. You want to see the same thing be done every time for Superman? They should approach everything differently. The way he's flying, literally everything should be done on a different technical way.
I'm excited for Guy Gardner in this movie.
Yeah.
Even though everyone's clowning the
everyone's clowning, but that's how he looks. But
Everyone.
James Gunn really understands like characters that should be dicks when they have to be. And I feel like Guy Gardner in Batman the Brave and the Bold, you know, even they talk about him in Young Justice and other adaptations, even the comics, like he is known to be a prick. And I do want to see that. And
he's known as that. He's known as the ultimate asshole
he is like,
in the DC universe, for sure.
I really want to see that because you don't get it that much where you see that cocky of a superhero that runs his mouth. That you don't see it that much. And he's a perfect example of what we should get in this movie, especially with somebody who's looked at the symbol of peace and has to be this nice person. And he projects himself that way, Superman. I'm interested how they're going to interact.
It'll be interesting to see their interactions.
I want to see their interactions 100%.
Well, I'm excited to see because Gunn, I don't think he's dealt with anyone this big before.
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously he's done Guardians of the Galaxy, but no one knew who Star-Lord was 15 years ago. So it's like,
100%.
it's a very different venture for him.
It's been an interesting road to get James Gunn getting him the keys to the DC kingdom.
I mean, it's
all because, I guess, of the tweet that he released in the early 2010s that got him fired from Marvel Studios for a minute.
Seriously, yeah.
It's not letting him to be the president.
We gotta thank
DC
Marvel
Studios.
for firing him, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean,
DC
maybe not thank
Studios,
him. I don't know yet. To
maybe
be honest,
wouldn't
Creature
even
Commandos
exist.
was good, but I'm no way defending James Gunn's DC. AU,
No, I'm just talking about the position that he's in.
DCU.
He's only in this
DCU,
position
right?
because of that.
DCU.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm very intrigued to see what he's gonna do, but also a lot riding on Superman, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess moving on, Noah.
Yeah.
What is we talked about that for a second.
So,
but what's your most anticipated?
I'm really excited. So this film comes out in like 2 weeks, I think. Mickey 17.
Perfect timing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I see trailers every time I go to the theater. And
Mr.
I try to
Bong
look away 'cause
Joon-ho
it's like,
is back.
I don't even want to see it.
Yes.
I'm super excited for this film. I've been following it since they announced it, to be honest, because I'm a big fan of the book.
Yeah, you read the book.
Did
so.
you,
I didn't
you
read
guys
the book,
never
but
read
I know
Mickey
what
7?
it is. But
it was interesting, but nothing really screamed. You know, like I guess nothing really spoke to me as to why Bong really wants to tackle the story. I guess it's a newer book. I think 2022 or something. Good story, very interesting concept. But I'm really excited to see what Bong wants to kind of spin with.
I think this is his second English-speaking movie, or maybe third. Snowpiercer.
Second or third.
Why no Snowpiercer?
yeah,
Snowpiercer.
It might be a second, but I find it really because he's not fully fluent in English, so it's really interesting
it's really
when
cool.
foreign directors make fully English movies.
I really like the pairing of Robert Pattinson with Bong Joon-ho. I mean,
anything Robert Pattinson does nowadays, I'm pretty much there for. And Bong Joon-ho, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be there. So
Pattinson's very versatile.
And also, I just gotta say, Mark Ruffalo in this movie. You got Steven Yeun in it.
Yeah,
like,
I will
it's
say,
Toni Collette. Like, it's crazy cast.
He looks very interesting as that character. I did not read him as Mark Ruffalo when I was reading the novel, but it looks like they're going for a very different interpretation, kind of touching upon things that the novel didn't, but it should be good and very funny, honestly.
I'm very excited for it, too,
Yeah, I just keep seeing trailers. I'm trying to stay away from anything now because I just
trailers nowadays, they ruin so much.
It's a little too much.
Yeah. All right, I guess moving on to another facet of the entertainment world, a TV show that I'm really looking forward to this year. I mean, I know everyone's talking about it, but Last of Us 2, I mean, they're doing another season to The Last of Us.
Yep.
As someone who's played the games, I'm excited, but also I'm carefully optimistic because, especially when The Last of Us 2 first dropped, there was so much backlash story-wise.
Yeah,
not even gameplay-wise. It's not gameplay-wise at all.
Let's just point this out, though. There was backlash, kind of. I mean, never to the gameplay.
Yeah,
but there was always backlash to both games in different ways, obviously. But The Last of Us Part 2 was always just an impossible game to market because of. I won't spoil it on this, but we know what happens. I mean, a lot of people going into season 2 don't know what happens, I guess.
Yeah.
Casual viewers. And it's going to be interesting to see the reactions after the first. I don't know how they're going to do it.
For those listening and know what we're talking about, I mean, I think this is going to be the most just like it's the most pivotal moment in the games in a way. I think it will be the most pivotal moment in the show to see if people actually stay and watch. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's going to be that big.
The crowd reactions will be very
It's going to be very similar, I think. Just like the reaction to the ending of season 1 was somewhat, at least it correlated to what happened when the game came out. And it was kind of very similar to that reaction.
The Last of Us series as well are a very different interpretation, I guess, from the games in a way where it's trying to be a little bit more realistic. You're not, especially surrounding Joel, but it's like, it's weird because they're going for Abby not being big like she is in the games in this. It's more focused on the drama.
I also find it funny because Caitlin Deaver is someone that I wanted to cast as Ellie
and now she's
in the first season.
I
was like my fan casting for Ellie. So I just find that funny.
But it's interesting how the show does approach the it wants to be more dramatic and just focus on the drama.
And I thought season 1 was great. That's why it is.
But I do think the Joel moment was a little jarring because, like, obviously I'm okay with what he does. Like,
I'll give you this. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for that first season because it introduced more people to the show. Like, for example, our dad would never have watched that. Like, he wouldn't ever have played the game. He would never have.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, he never would have played the video game. So
my point is, it's weird when Joel is not the Joel from the games in the show.
Yeah, but it can never have happened because you're playing a video game where, at least, especially to show his skill set, you're playing as him and racking up bodies upon bodies.
Yeah,
like, it's just hard to translate that to a series.
Yeah, that's
so
all.
I give it a little bit of leeway, but I see.
That's what they're doing with Abby too. They're not going to focus on like her being this brute and all of her kills. It's going to focus on her emotion.
Yeah,
and her story. You know, with
that's
Joel.
True. That's true. And they do show that a lot with her physical change in the game. I'll give you that. Yes,
and that's
like
why they
showing her being skinny, and then because you do play as her as a skinny person, and then eventually she becomes bigger than Joel and bigger than anyone. she's giant.
She's a big lady.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
So
I mean, interesting to see what they do.
So I'm carefully optimistic for Last of Us season.
Well, I'm actually kind of curious if it makes me appreciate the story more. To be honest,
yeah, I mean,
I wasn't the biggest fan of the
my last replay of Last of Us 2, just the game itself, I definitely did start appreciating the story.
Oh, the game is phenomenal.
Yes.
I can't deny that. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing, but it was a challenging game to get through because of how much I really enjoyed the first one.
I mean, it challenges the player.
The point of the game.
It's the point. Yeah.
No, the story's definitely a challenge.
Anyways, I guess moving down the TV line.
Well, you kind of took the spotlight on Last of Us 2, which is what I was going to say, but I'm gonna go a different direction. I'm going to say Stranger Things. Just because
I think that's
it's 100% going to come out this year.
Is that confirmed?
I'm pretty sure they're saying it's on track.
It's on track this year, but
we'll count it.
At the time of this podcast,
it's on track.
It's on track,
but
to come out. Yes,
that would be my take, just because the hype, how long it's been around, like the grip it's literally had on people,
it's a cultural phenomenon.
It's great, and it just I really do appreciate, especially the music, the references, like the time period. I really enjoy it.
You can't think of much series in the last few years, or at least 10 years now. It's been a long time where a lot of the people from it, their careers were boosted.
Tremendously.
It's an insane level of how much they were boosted.
A lot of talent
coming from Stranger Things, no doubt.
I'm just going to give a quick shout out, obviously, to an August release. I'm going to say Peacemaker Season 2, just because how long it really has been. And
that one's going to be weird, too.
I wasn't thinking about it, and I really am excited.
The end credit, well, not end credit, but the ending scene of the Zack Snyder's Justice League showing up, and James Gunn even said in a tweet, and we can actually look back to it, I have a screenshot, I took it last week, where he said that it was all going to make sense at one point. So I want to know what that means by this will make sense.
I think that...
And I think that will be a project that shows us, will definitely show us the approach he's really going for with the DC universe.
I'm very curious, and you really see how John Cena acted in Season 1. Like, I have so much respect. Listen, I really think
best acting he's ever done, no doubt.
How he carried himself in Peacemaker was, insane. You really saw the emotions of this prick that was in the Suicide Squad 2, a guy crying and having this emotional identity crisis and blocking out his childhood and all this other crazy internal conflict.
I
wouldn't have pictured
it's
John
another
Cena
interesting Gunn character.
Did great, and I can't wait for.
He has such a way with turning these. I was about to say B-list, but these are C-list characters, honestly, and making them
Judo Master.
He's a Judo Master and freaking Vigilante.
We love Judo
are phenomenal characters.
Vigilante was actually completely different in the comics too, and the way he did it,
I'll give it that. Yes, I thought it was great.
I liked.
I can see why some people thought it were.
I can see why some people are mad, but. I think you can do that with C-listers. At least, come on, you could have your own interpretation of a C-list character.
The way he did it, I thought was great, and I liked the reference of Kite Man, Batman. it really makes you wonder, like, what is Gunn going to do with all these references already? Like,
I think that show very much showed what he wanted from the get-go, which is a fully established DC universe
but I think
for him
that,
to just play with.
I think Creature
right off the
Commandos
bat.
further went into how,
And that
he,
too,
wants
yeah.
to, how he wants to flesh out the
the
universe.
Weasel
though, 'cause it's
backstory,
just-
I will not spoil, but, like, he really built depth on these characters, and he really wants something to go for. He doesn't want to just be like, all right, guys, we're going to throw Joker back, and we're doing... Like, obviously, they will show up probably at some point because of how big they are on these, characters, backstories, but... We're going to see some obscure characters that you've probably seen in only Justice League Unlimited, Batman, Brave and the Bold, become bigger names, and it's because that's what he wants to do. Batmite being mentioned in live action, it's a very big character in, Brave and the Bold and what he does and how he associates with Batman. So in a modern time, Batmite, I'm very curious on how
explain Batmite to the casuals.
So Batmite is a multi-dimensional fanboy of... So, Batmite is a multi-dimensional character. He's a big fan of Batman, a stan, if you will.
Essentially as ridiculous as the DC universe gets.
It is. He dresses up as Batman, but, like, he is insanely powerful, but he just knows everything about Bruce Wayne. Batman follows him around, so it's very interesting.
So basically, like the average Batman
Robert
fan.
Pattinson to be a part of this.
And it's very interesting. It's very interesting to see how.
I think they all have reality-changing abilities.
I think that already showed us that it wasn't Pattinson.
To see characters like that be introduced, I think is gonna be very.
No, it's gonna
very weird.
It's gonna be cool.
I think he wants it to be
Peacemaker's
like
gonna
that,
definitely
though,
have like a couple new characters. There's no way he doesn't. But,
No.
And the butterfly invasion you saw on the map, it was almost the entire Earth. So I'm curious to see what happens with that.
Yeah, they didn't completely finish that. Yeah, that's a fair point. I completely forgot about that.
The entire Earth is covered. I wonder how the Justice League has any involvement in this too.
Yeah, for sure.
They were there on the scene.
I got asked that. Did we pick your most anticipated show?
No, we went on a little tangent there.
We did, but I just figured we had picked your thing.
So you guys are gonna be shocked, but I'm gonna pick a Disney Plus show.
Oh boy.
Yeah. No. I think you guys are excited too. Andor season 2 is finally coming out this year.
I had a feeling.
And it might be the last Star Wars project I ever care about. But I am so excited for it to come out.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say this. I don't want to go on a huge Star Wars tangent, but we've talked time and time again of why Andor works so much. I think 2 reasons. One, it's adult oriented, which is something we've never seen.
But still accessible.
Too accessible to kids. I didn't mean it that way, but it's at least a different lens.
But miles ahead of something like the Clone Wars, which did get kind of mature for a kids product.
It did.
Yeah.
But Andor definitely feels more adult oriented than anything that.
But I'd even say more so. It's like I think the reason it works is because full-heartedly, at least you can deny it. I know you'll have a big argument with me about this, but I think the era of Star Wars that works the most and always has worked is the original era. It's the era of the Galactic Civil War. Going back to that, showing stuff what happened with the rebellion is just a very smart TV series, and I actually think it's very worthwhile watching. Not a lot of people even watch it. I think it's
it's funny because I was one of those people. I held off for so long, and then a lot of people started telling me to watch it, and I did, and I got through it maybe in like 2-3 days.
Yeah, it's great. Some
but just the way they did it too, kind of taking from Clone Wars and doing arcs. 3-episode arcs. It made it so accessible and just very easy to digest in a way. And I'm not gonna lie, they just kept one-upping themselves. Like the only bad arc was the introduction arc in the beginning, and I wouldn't even call it bad. It's just like it's not as strong as the rest.
Because each
of
arc
the
after
series.
that elevated it even more.
We're like, am I wrong, or is
No.
Diego Luna as Cassian Andor like one of the best Star Wars characters?
Oh, that show made me realize how good his character is.
It really is.
Genuinely one of the best Star Wars characters.
I think it makes you appreciate Rogue One even more than
I think it's a better project than Rogue One, and I think it makes Rogue One better still.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, no, it's great, and I'm very excited. So I don't know exactly when it comes out, but I think it's soon. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all very, very excited for that. Maybe, possibly the last Star Wars, but you're right. It might be the last Star Wars project.
Listen. There's still going to be projects that come out that are probably going to be intriguing from Star Wars, but I think just from the way they've done it, it just feels so oversaturated.
We'll just have to wait and see one of those things because there hasn't been that many projects.
We'll never get back to Star Wars feeling like a truly special IP or product, whatever you want to call it. It was something so special before Disney bought it, and it was for a second there, but once they started their release schedule and the 1 movie a year thing was just it made something that was special into just another cookie cutter franchise.
I agree.
It sucks. It's great that projects like
that being said, Andor is still I guess a little
it's great that it exists.
Glimmer of hope in there.
Yeah,
I think I think lastly, maybe we can talk about some video games, something like that.
Well, I'm gonna assume that the
what
most
else?
anticipated video game.
I know it's hard to talk about most anticipated 25 because I think we all have the most anticipated video game.
I think the whole.
I think
world
the whole
does.
world is
Yeah,
collective
I think
on
the
this.
whole
I mean,
world
let's be real. It's GTA 6. I mean,
Yeah.
if it comes out in 2025, I think so. I think again, as of this recording, it is set to release this year.
As of this week, it is still supposedly on track to release in 2025.
Here's the thing about GTA 6. It is so overhyped to this point. Not even overhyped. I mean, it might be accurately hyped. I don't know.
Did you see the photos
But-
from yesterday?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I did.
On the boat,
yeah. It looks.
beautiful detail. And I thought
It's
5
just
looked
funny to
amazing.
me because
I actually haven't seen
in
it.
a way, I'm starting to
Yeah,
think
actually.
if it isn't the best game of all time, it's a disappointment.
Well, it's funny. It's literally the follow-up to Red Dead Redemption 2 and the
Yeah.
sequel to GTA 5, which are
highly regarded as
super
a lot of
best.
people call those the best games ever
Yeah.
made.
Especially-
Both of them.
Or specifically in our generation. Like, it
Yeah,
really
especially people in our generation.
I
They're gonna.
don't
those
even
are
know
gonna
if
come
they're
up.
my favorite games per se, but like, what is wrong? Like,
I
there's
respect it.
there's nothing bad in the game. Like, it's just
Yeah.
they're perfect.
It's
games.
credible enough to say it. And the way I
No,
look at it is
I would never argue it.
GTA 5 has been around since I was in middle school, and I'm in grad school and college right now.
Yeah.
And it still gets updates and still has millions of players playing
Oh,
the
it's still a
game.
relevant game.
Like, so that's what I look at is the longevity. So imagine 6 is this big upgrade. You're going to have a crazy longevity for that
I
game.
think they want 6 to last the same amount of
I
time.
agree.
More.
If
20 years.
if
They want it
6
to last
doesn't
Took
long,
this
no
long
doubt.
to develop. They
What-
probably want it to be maybe even the final GTA title. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't
for
say they
long
want it to
time
be a
at
GTA
least.
final GTA title, but I want it to be a title for a long time that they can just keep updating.
something
no doubt.
memorable
No
that
doubt.
they really outdid
it
themselves.
could legitimately be the GTA for 20 years. 20 years.
I don't see that as being
just
something
not
that's out
a
of the question
crazy
at all. I don't
statement
think that's out of the question at all.
No, it's not. Look how long
It's
it's been
crazy.
around. What is it? How long has it been
They
around?
also
It's been
want to
last one.
put an over $100 price tag.
2013.
Everyone would pay that.
2013, and look, we're going into 2025, 12 years, and look how much better the quality is from the photos we saw
Yeah.
leaked. This has potential to be another, 15-year run, possibly more.
It's definitely going to come out on the next
Yeah.
two generations.
And how are we feeling about the map, Florida? Is that
Oh,
It's gonna be
I'm
choice.
very-
Yeah, I think that's a
I'm-
great choice.
I'm excited.
I'm
A lot
so
more,
excited.
We're gonna have a lot more landscapes to probably work with. I have a feeling.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna-
Florida,
Yeah.
Well, Florida, you think about it, you
We've
drive
done it
one
though
place, it's a
before.
city,
It's
and then it's the
more
wetlands,
vast
and then
now,
it's just
yeah.
like you can
You
go to
can
the Florida
Marsh,
Keys,
you can
you can go,
anything,
there's so many
islands,
things.
The Gulf area. There's a lot you
Yeah.
can work with Florida, and there's a lot of different areas. Like, dude, some are more country western, not western, but like more southern, as I would say, and then
Yeah.
some more city-like, and then there's Cuban
You
population.
got everything there. I agree.
You have a lot of
And then
different
you got the
populations.
gators and
You know-
actual cool.
And
animals
also
stuff.
remember how they did the Red Dead Redemption 2 map and how that
Yeah.
involved with animals and all that.
Yeah.
Integrating
that.
that into GTA, it's just going to be.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they were really able to do that. There
Yeah.
were some animals
But
maybe
think
in
about
GTA
how,
5. Not a
how
lot.
like you
You had the
affect
shark.
everything on the
There's a
map.
shark?
in
Yeah,
Red
I remember
Dead.
you could.
Shark, yeah.
You could. No, you could. But
Okay.
think about how you affect.
They were great.
everything
You're
in
a
the
great
map.
stuff, GTA 5.
Yeah.
Amazing
Doing
game.
that in like a city environment in GTA
I can't
6.
wait.
Oh, it's
is
gonna
just
be
The club life's gonna be insane.
Let's be
Yeah.
real. I have a big feeling that like social media is gonna have a lot
Oh,
to do.
so
Like
you're
it's
saying
gonna be a lot of
streamers-
21st century kind
Streamers, they're
of.
probably
Yeah,
gonna
you already
heist.
saw that in the trailer.
Heists are
Yeah,
probably.
I think we did,
there's
yeah.
gonna be heist, obviously, automatically.
Of
I haven't looked
course,
too much into it
that's a
because I
given.
want to explore, so I'm trying to like stay away from everything.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to just be going into it and be like, oh my god, like GTA 5.
Yeah.
But there's especially with streamers right now too. Like, people are gonna, it's gonna blow up. Like
Yeah.
this is gonna be very big, especially for the younger generation that didn't experience what we did. But on top of this, I just want to go away from this. God forbid it does get pushed back. But my anticipated game actually is gonna be Pokemon Legend Z.
Pokemon titles.
I'm be real
Yeah,
here.
I'm not a Pokemon guy, so please tell me about this game.
Legends
please.
Arceus was a completely step in a different direction. Pokemon is probably one of the best games I played. There's 2 open world Pokemon games. Well, real open world compared to Scarlet and Violet, which had a lot of bug issues. I liked it a lot, but Arceus was something different. And I'm very excited to see what they do in this next Legends game. Like, not a ton has come out yet. Apparently, somebody.
And would this be a Switch 2 title?
I see it's gonna.
Yeah, that's a good
I saw
question.
that was gonna be on both, but I haven't seen anything that so reliable that it was confirmed, and I don't know what to believe because there's so many different things. Like, you don't even know what starter Pokemon are coming out. You don't know anything.
Oh, so the game
else.
doesn't even have a release.
Well,
it's just
no,
like-
it does. It's
Oh,
coming
it
out
does.
this year, but it just they're not releasing so much information.
Yeah.
no, I
It's
get it,
coming
I
out
get
this year. It's planned to.
Did they announce this at the last Nintendo Direct? Like, where was this?
I think. Well, no, they announced it beforehand, but
Okay.
yeah, Nintendo Direct.
Because that next Nintendo Direct, we're definitely get a good sense of what the
Well, that's what I was going
the
to
console
discuss.
release
very-
games will
I'm
be for the
excited.
It's
Nintendo
very
Switch
tough
2.
to see what I don't know what to anticipate for the starters. I don't know what they're gonna do different from Legends Arceus, but I'm excited just to play something like that again. It was just really interesting to see a different take on a game that's been done for so long, and kind of hit a plateau, I would say, in a way, and they're trying to change it up. Bring it back to Legends Arceus. I thought it was a great game.
I will ask you guys this, though. Because the Switch 2 is coming out relatively soon, what do you think? We do know Mario Kart's coming out.
Yes.
What do you think another launch title would be for the Switch 2?
Probably a 3D platformer.
I'm thinking a 3D platform Mario game as well, because I think, not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom.
It's not going to be a Zelda game.
It can't be a Zelda game, because Tears of the Kingdom came out way too recently. So it's either got to be 3D Mario, right? Or maybe Smash?
I don't know if they redo Smash. I really don't.
I feel like it's kind of
I think that's just like the hopeful person.
It's already been 7 years since the last Smash.
And
it's also been 7 years since Mario Kart, and how long since the last Odyssey? When Odyssey came out? It's been a while. It's been a while for all these things.
I mean,
what a great game, and
all great games.
I think we've been eagerly awaiting a follow up to that. I love those.
I would be a little shocked if they did Smash before a 3D Mario game.
Because Smash Ultimate was Smash Ultimate. Like,
it
felt
also with
like
that last Mario Kart,
game.
it kind of felt like the definitive title for that for the game.
And we already know there's a new Mario Kart, so it's kind of exciting. I think it's about time. When did Mario Kart 8 come out for the Wii U?
Mario Kart 8 has been updated,
but it came out for the Wii U first, right?
I don't even know.
It's a Wii U game.
Yeah, I think it did come out for the Wii U.
Mario Kart 7's a 3DS game.
That's crazy.
It didn't even come out on consoles.
It's been
That's
so
crazy.
long. There's so many things I got to refresh my brain on. But no, I don't know what other label they would use. It's just, I really hope they do what they did with the Switch, right? I want backwards compatibility.
They announced that. It's happening.
There will be backwards compatibility.
Okay, I saw some.
They wouldn't abandon their Switch.
No.
It's too much.
Yeah, no.
I don't think they would go back. And there's online games. They do online games. I like Splatoon. Like they're not gonna abandon. They just can't abandon them.
Yeah.
I didn't look too much into. Like I said, I like.
I don't play them. I just know about
certain things like that. I like to see when they come out and just like. It's already in people's hands. You can see reviews, like, because sometimes there's those leaks that just are very misleading or just rumors that just aren't true. So I just try to avoid stuff like that. But no, I'm excited. Never know what to expect. If they make a new Smash game, the roster they had in the previous game was just insane.
Yeah, like how do you
Banjo-Kazooie,
like
Steve. I mean, I can.
The only way to one up it is Waluigi.
And they said they'll never do that, and I feel like they'll never do any. Like, in my mind, I want, like, Shadow the Hedgehog and, like, Knuckles, and they're just not going to do that.
I think eventually we're going to see a Sonic.
I think that's the end of the road. I think it's eventually just drawing out those extra characters from those franchises.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, it just might not happen, is what I'm saying. I think that would be the next step.
we'd see a Sonic fighting game before then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think
another one.
The logical next step would be doing that, but I don't think they might not do that. So I don't know.
I hear you.
I would definitely like to see, like, how they did Samus and Dark Samus, same exact character. Maybe a variant of Kirby.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
something.
Wait, where's Kirby been? I mean, maybe I'm forgetting. Like,
there's free game. There was a free game I downloaded. I completely forgot. But yeah,
there was like I can't. I'm not an expert on Kirby, but
yeah.
Also, just haven't really been keeping up with Nintendo. I am excited for the announcement though.
Yeah, they got a lot of big stuff. I mean, overall, I think 2025 is going to be an insanely big year.
It's just going to be a big year for media in general.
It's going to be a big year for media. A lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
But that being said, for the GMR podcast, I'm Dylan.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Noah.
And we will see you guys next time. Thanks for listening.